Pacers win a truly absurd game right here in Madison Square Garden over the Knicks. Overtime, 39 lead changes, crazy defense late, a different starting lineup, in-game injuries, but they get it done, and we'll get to right to all of it on the Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes and Circle City Spin. And today, holy smokes, what a doozy from right here in Madison Square Garden, where the Pacers just beat the Knicks in overtime. That's the first time that's happened in a couple months in this building. Another insane game, 39 lead changes, but the Pacers wall up in overtime. Don't let the Knicks score for the first 4 minutes of the extra period. Pascal Siakam was awesome. A new starting lineup was very good. Kobe Brown debuted. Ivica Zubac sat on the bench and got to meet his teammates. A very eventful day for the Pacers, who got a lot of contributions from a lot of guys. 8 players in double figures today in the Garden. Just so many things we have to talk about, but just the absurdity of this game is where I want to start. I didn't realize on my own even to how much was needed to contextualize 39 lead changes, and it was tied at the end of regulation, so nearly 40 in one game, right? And that is, I'll tell you like this. How many of you watched the Pacers-Thunder game to open the season, right? The Pacers' first game of the year, OKC's in town, finals rematch, tons of energy, everybody's juiced up. That game went to double overtime, trading leads, trading baskets, huge plays left and right. That game had 18 lead changes, 18. This one had 39. Neither team ever led by more than 10. Along the way, it was tied 16 times. Just insane to which the degree this game was 6-0 run, 4-0 run, 3-0 run, 7, like back and forth. It was awesome basketball. And to the Pacers' credit, in a season like this, where so often there's a moment in the game where the bottom just collapses. It falls out. They have a dreadful third quarter here. They have a terrible start to the game there. They can't close against Philly, whatever. There's a million examples of games you could use tonight. Every time it felt like some punch in the mouth was coming from the Knicks because Cat was bowling toward the rim over and over, because Brunson was finally getting going. Oh my gosh, Josh Hart is hitting threes. They're screwed. They found an answer. They made the right sub, and a different all the time, came up with the right response. And it was just such an impressive way to win a game like this against a good Knicks team who was playing much better of late than they were last month. And they were obviously missing a key contributor in OG Anunoby, among some other absences for both teams. But it was such an impressive spirit from the Pacers to be able to come out on top in a game like that. And it goes to overtime. You just never know how those are going to go. Truly a coin flip. And they were awesome to start it. Go up 7 very quickly, then 9. They didn't allow a basket for the first couple minutes. OT, we'll get to that. But just an all-time awesome regular season game. And all-time, it was always extreme. But when there's that many lead changes, the NBA record's 43. They were 4 lead changes away from doing that. It's close to that. And I just love these Knicks-Pacers clashes. The way Nesmith and Brunson interact, the way Siakam always seems to be ready to go in the Garden, the way that there's so many players whose personalities just seem to yin and yang in these games. There's always something interesting and fascinating happening. And early in this one, it was a high-scoring game. Both teams over 30 points in the first quarter. The Knicks ball movement is there. Mikal Bridges is hitting shots, but the Pacers pace is very good. It's like 12-12 in 4 minutes. And the Pacers, every time the Knicks would score or they'd get a stop and they were going to the other end, you could see Rick Carlisle at the bench doing his classic let's go faster hand motion, right? He's turning his hand. He's trying to tell the Pacers to speed it up. And they played big most of this game, but the way they tried to get it going was truly fascinating. It was a clear focus for them to keep their offensive tempo alive. And so many times recently in a win, they have pointed to that as for their success. The player movement was good. The ball movement was good. 30 assists in this game on their 50 makes, and they were really getting it around the perimeter early. And so there was a lot of signs in this game that the Pacers were going to have lots of solutions coming their way. That was one of them. They had the right tempo down. They used the starting lineup. That was effective against the Knicks. Quentin Jackson started. That adds some pace to the game. Micah Potter started, with absolutely no offense to Jay Huff, who's probably a little better than him. Micah Potter adds pace to the game. Those two fit very well around the rest of the Pacers starters and what they wanted to do. And so the moment I felt, I had two competing thoughts kind of throughout the early parts of this game on what direction it was headed. On one hand, there was one lineup that was Nembhard, Nesmith, and then Kobe Brown playing his first game with the Pacers, Ben Shepherd and Jay Huff. That was sort of a second unit. That's only 2 starters, but the group was working. It was playing pretty well. And in that moment, I thought, wow, if they're mixing and matching to that extent and still finding success, still getting the ball popping, still playing the way they want, maybe they have a good chance to win. But I also wondered what happened when the threes stopped going in. The Pacers were only up 4. It was 51-47, and they were shooting 52.4% from 3. You always wonder if at any moment that's just going to end. The threes will stop falling, and the Knicks will go on a run and put it away. And the threes kind of stopped on. The Pacers finished at 40% for the game, but they kept the rest of their offensive potency alive, which is good because their transition defense was not very good in this game. But the stretch that made me realize that three-point shooting was not going to be their demise at some point was they had about 3 minutes in the second quarter where they had none of Siakam, Nembhard, and Nesmith on the floor, right? Throw everybody else to the Wolves to figure it out. McConnell was in the game, but that's a tough lineup. They're losing a lot of their shot creators. Mathurin's gone, and they kept their lead through that stretch. And then those 3 came back for the final 5 minutes, and ironically, those 3 closed the first half poorly. Josh Hart starts sticking some threes, and you think maybe they blew it. But the fact that that group could stay afloat and keep the Pacers in it made me realize, okay, they can win this game. Like they truly can, even without the shooting keeping up. They're going to be able to find some solutions. And sure enough, they did. They obviously shot it pretty well throughout the rest of the night. But all of a sudden, third quarter, there's TJ McConnell with 4 or 5 twos in a couple seconds. Ben Shepherd is doing stuff. We'll get to him. Kobe Brown keeps getting every offensive rebound. He only had 2, but it felt like he had much more, right? They just had lots of guys step in the solutions, and they got it to OT because of that. A very dramatic game, so I won't go play by play like I enjoy doing. As a foul up 3 truther, painful regulation ending for me in that way. But the Pacers were able to trade enough baskets to be ahead late in this game and get it done, despite a very poor Pascal Siakam free throw night, especially in important big free throws. Aaron Nesmith with a foul with 0.2 to go that he actually had to do to stop Cat from just dunking the ball to win the game, or to tie the game, excuse me. He still made both free throws. So they get to overtime, and honestly, the Knicks had momentum at that point. Like the Pacers were playing well and up for much of the fourth quarter, but the way the game ended with the Pacers missed free throws, the Towns free throws going in, Mikal Bridges hitting some big ones, the Pacers kind of tripping all over themselves. It kind of felt like in the Garden, this would go the Knicks' way. And instead, OT was just all Pacers, right? Outside of a Siakam silencer with about 90 seconds left in regulation, the Knicks had the momentum going into that period. And then the Knicks, who had 124 to start overtime, still had 124 with 41 seconds left in overtime. So 4 minutes and 19 seconds to start the extra period. They did not score, right? They missed so many important shots. Brunson couldn't score down the stretch of regulation. And in overtime, nobody could. Mikal Bridges missed here. Brunson missed there. Towns stumbles into the rim, commits his 6th foul. He fouls out of the game. Landry Shamet gets messed up on a reverse layup. And like everybody was missing. Josh Hart taking a tough 3. Not early on the shot clock, but that's not the shot you want. Like they got the Knicks out of sorts. Their defense was quite good when it mattered. And so in a crazy game like that, you just need some calming moments to get it done. And I thought Siakam silencer with 90 seconds to go. They got the crowd hushed. Among the quietest. I've been to MSG now like 10 times. Among the quietest I've heard this building ever. Quentin Jackson in overtime with first a finger roll to give the Pacers their lead that won them the game, and then a 3 to put the Pacers up 7 with 1:33 to go. That was a huge play. And then just enough defensive successes in the final minute. They tried to give it away with more missed free throws and turnovers late, but the composure in a game like that was very impressive for the Pacers. And look, the Knicks have a better record than them. The Knicks beat them in a dramatic game this season with Jalen Brunson hitting a 3. But even in the middle of a time where losing, certainly incentivized, the Pacers found a way to get this one done. And a lot of fans still like to see the Pacers beat the Knicks. To all of you very disappointed, I understand why. I'm not going to tell you what to think, what to root for, what to think. I will tell you that the Nets beat the Bulls, the Wizards beat the Pistons, the Jazz beat the Heat, and the Pelicans beat the Kings this week. Obviously, the Pelicans beating the Kings is a little bit of a double whammy, but like this is going to happen to not only just the Pacers, every single team. It's just going to happen. So I'm not saying it's good. It's just keep perspective, realize what's happening. The Nets game will be very important to you people who are disappointed in this result. I will guess that there's going to be a lengthy injury report for the Pacers in that game. Let's get to the notebook. And then at the end, well, actually, no, let's do Kobe Brown and Ivica Zubac first. And then we'll get to the notebook to close this one. Kobe Brown debuts. We got to talk to Zubats on Zoom. That's coming up next here on Locked On Pacers. But first, everybody, I got to talk to you about two wonderful groups of people. First up is Indeed. Hiring isn't just about finding somebody who will take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs is the move, because instead of hoping the right person stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit your specific criteria, like skills, certifications, and location. If you were hiring, you don't just want someone who can help. You want somebody with the real experience who can jump right in, and Indeed will get you that, a specific and target, somebody you actually need. It saves time because you don't have to sort through mismatches. And with your sponsored jobs, you get seen by candidates who are actually a fit. Here's the stat that says it all. In this minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to their data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching, more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. With Indeed sponsored jobs, listeners to this podcast will get a $75 job credit to help your job get the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. Let's also quickly talk about game time. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena, the crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that part hasn't always been so simple. That's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. Puts the advantage back where it belongs, with the fans. Pull up the Game Time app. You'll pick an upcoming game. Boom. You can have tickets within minutes. You can see the all-in price up front. There's no surprise fees at checkout. Seat views in the app before you even get to the arena. Zone deals that will stand out. Great last-minute options. NBA tickets at solid prices. It's quick. It's intuitive. It is stress-free from start to finish. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. We're back here on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making us your first listen today and every single day. Your second listen, Locked On Knicks. I'm sure they're going to talk about some craziness from the Knicks. They're very poor defense, some shot selection, and painfully no OG Anunoby, who would have been very helpful for them in this specific game. And check out the Everydayer Club if you want ad-free versions of Locked On Pacers, exclusive Discord access to talk with other Pacers fans and NBA fans. That might be for you. The link is in the description of this podcast. Okay, we continue here on Locked On Pacers. Kobe Brown debuts. Of course, as Lucas Hand said on this very podcast, he covers the Clippers. Not a lot of shine from Kobe Brown with the Clippers. He had not played particularly well, but you never know what a fresh start could do. And I really love the way Rick Carlisle framed this game before. Right, Rick Carlisle himself, when he switched teams, most of his career was with the Celtics, but he did play briefly in this building in MSG. He gets signed that day, and he said, I think foul trouble contributed to him actually playing that night. But when he was a player, he had a game like that where it was very liberating for him to play in it for a different team and have very little prep time and just kind of play free and simple basketball and not have to overthink any situations, or you don't know your teammates' habits. You're just trying to stick in there and stand out. And Kobe Brown, here he comes. It's his first game. And I talked to him pregame. He didn't even know that Carlisle story, which I thought was very funny. So his task is he by his account, joined the Pacers Monday night. And then they're playing Tuesday, right? So he's met his team for about a day. And so, look, we talked about this when Furphy got hurt. It was clear he was going to play. He was going to be important, but there's so many questions about what his role is going to be. What are his strengths going to be? How's he going to fit? Is he even going to be any good, right? In this game, 3 for 4, drills a corner three. Awesome on the glass. 6 rebounds, third most on the team. Only Ben Shepherd, who was great in this game, and Aaron Nesmith had more, which is just a hilarious sentence to say in its totality. Plus 13 in 19 minutes was Kobe Brown. By far a Pacers high. Nobody else was better than plus 4. He was very mobile and active on the glass, hunting for those plays. Notably, with the rebounding in the game, late in the game, it's a free throw game. The Pacers keep fouling the Knicks by accident or sometimes fouling up 3 on purpose. The Knicks are fouling the Pacers to stop the clock or stop possessions. Every time it was a rebounding situation, Carlisle is putting Quentin Jackson in the game instead of someone else, right? That's very pivotal to what they're going to need from him. They already believe in him, at least in this night, who they had available as a rebounding piece, right? The funniest thing that happened in this game, though, Kobe Brown makes his first 3 shots from the field. Looked great. Doing so, 2 of them at the basket, like a spinning drive, a corner 3. That's great. The rebounding was there. And then he gets fouled, and he's at the free throw line for 2 shots. And he makes the second, but he missed the first. So in between free throws, Kobe Brown was 3 for 3 from the field and 0 for 1 from the foul line, which means for a brief moment, if you get rid of all the qualifiers, he led the Pacers franchise history in field goal percentage and was dead last in free throw percentage. What a journey. He ends 3 for 4 and 1 for 2 at the line. So first of all, the thing I would like to talk about is his role. He was very clearly in this game the backup kind of 3-4, right? The bench group featured McConnell, Jones, Shepherd, Huff and Brown. So that would make him the 4, but they very rarely, I don't think if ever really, had all 5 of those guys directed at the same time on the floor. So he was toggling between those 2 positions. He was guarding most often Mo Diawara, which is a 4, right? So given their current health situation, no Toppin, no Jarris in this game. Jarris had an illness, so that certainly could change things. Obviously, no Furphy. He was the backup 4. I think you'll see him at those forward spots. So he's like that. What you notice right away when you're close to him is that, yes, his height is not necessarily forward signs, but his build certainly is. He's very strong, right? And so that positional versatility does work. He skies in for these offensive rebounds. He was totally fine in this game. If anything, he was pretty good, right? So the fact that he immediately showed some impact, did some real things, means he's going to keep playing. And even if Jarris does come back, I still think he's going to keep playing. Who knows in what exact capacity, but you just subtract a few minutes from Ben Shepherd here. Certainly some from Aaron Nesmith, who played a ton, even through injury. We'll get to that. And we'll see how that shakes out. But Brown certainly should be in the mix, a guy that could evaluate down the rest of the season. Already getting questions about it. So let's do this quickly. I'll maybe do a deep dive on this if I get enough demand for it. So Kobe Brown, first round pick in 2023. That means he was on a rookie and is on a rookie scale contract. Those are 4 years long, but you decide on team options on rookie scale deals a year early. And the Clippers already declined his contract for next season, which means it's like Jalen Smith. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent in the summer. The Pacers can only offer him what his 4th year option would have been, right? Which is 4-point-something million. I can't remember. Any other team can offer him more. He's currently not worth either of those numbers, but if he keeps playing like this, he would, get in the mix for that. So his future is to be determined based on his play. There are limits on what the Pacers can offer. That is of no concern right now. He has played one good game. And to be clear, he was quite good in his debut. Speaking of debuts, Ivica Zubac debuted his spot on the bench. It was very fun to see him be part of the injured group with Tyrese Haliburton and Obi Toppin. Him and Tyrese were talking quite a bit during the game, including sometimes it looked like about basketball, like they were pointing to certain sides of the court. That's a jovial group for him to get to know first in Tyrese and Obi, but he's with the team. We met him on Zoom ourselves earlier in the day. So we have at least some insights into what his deal is and everything like that. It was very interesting to hear him talk about the experience of the trade because he had ideas, he said, before the day of the trade. It was still surprising. It's shocking to everybody to be traded, but he heard there was a chance he might be before that date. If you heard my reporting on the trade yesterday, you shouldn't be surprised to know that. But of course, he's off to Indiana. But Dustin Dopirak was asking this followed up, he got traded the same day his baby was born, right? He said he was learning, and he was at the pediatrician learning how to use the bottle warmer. And that's when he got the call that he was getting traded, which I thought was quite funny. What a start to a life for him and for his new child. I thought that was fascinating. I followed up after that and asked him about the angle, of course, of big, maybe not concern, but certainly an interesting time for him. He talked about he had grade 2 ankle sprain and didn't miss that much time, right? You normally expect guys to miss more than he did, but he mentioned that he had at the time, and he still does. He said he still has some swelling and soreness. I can't see his ankle to verify this myself, but he, wants to get to 100% and be ready before he's going to go. I put the whole clip up on my Twitter feed if you'd like to see that. But as for his fit, he believes in the rebounding part, like everybody does, a big paint presence, a screener, all the stuff that everybody has kind of already mentioned with him is the same stuff. He said he does have to heal. He was listed as questionable, but Rick Carlisle went on the radio on 107.5 The Fan this morning and said that he's not going to play through the All-Star break, so do not expect to see him tonight against the Nets, or if you listen to this after that game against the Nets. We'll see when he actually can. But when I asked Carlisle pregame what he wants to see health-wise from Zubats before he actually plays on the floor, he just mentioned health, right? In general, they want to know it's going to be 100% safe for him to go. We'll see. I wonder how long it will take, but perhaps, if it was grade 2 and he played through it, it could still be dealing with some sort of effects from that. But it was the pressures, it was really the speed they play with, the craziness of the comebacks in the playoffs. He's excited to try to fit into that, try to fit into the pace. And, he got asked about fitting into all that and his role. He talked about something he's going to have to do is space out a little farther, right? He's usually been in the dunker spot. He thinks he's going to have to go out into the corners and things of that nature. This interview has been posted, so if you guys want to see it, that's it. But he has joined the team. He has shared his opinions of how he'll fit, and we'll get more about that if he actually plays / when he actually plays this season. And that is probably the end of trade coverage because Kobe Brown has played, and we won't get Zubats till we get Zubats. Let's do the notebook from the rest of this game. Siakam, Quentin Jackson, so many more guys to get to close out today's Locked On Pacers. But first, everybody, we got to quickly talk about FanDuel. The Winter Games are here. If you're anything like FanDuel, you're locking in for the events you only get to see on the biggest stage every 4 years. That is why following the Winter Games on FanDuel just makes sense. From medal counts to individual events to finding your angle on the sports you care about the most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action, the drama of curling matches that start slow and somehow get intense fast, to speed skating races decided by inches, hockey games that feel different right from the first face-off, niche events that become must-watch when you're fully locked into the competition. FanDuel keeps the entire Olympic experience engaging from start to finish. The Winter Games are on. There's no better way to follow them with FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game. We're back here on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making us your first listen today and every single day or second listen. Lots of action in the NBA, but the Clippers debuted their new guys, a.k.a. Pacers' old guys, Bennedict, Mathurin, and Isaiah Jackson. Locked On Clippers for more on that front. If you didn't see it or you just want the stats, Ben Mathurin, 9 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals, but he was 4 for 13 from the field. Isaiah Jackson appears, and that was a speculation, that he'll be the third big on that team behind Brook Lopez and Yannick, and he was. He played the last 5 minutes and 28 seconds of garbage time, but 2 for 2, 5 points, 1 rebound. You can hear more about them on Locked On Clippers. Okay, lots to get to from the end of this game. An insane game. Siakam was just awesome. He loves the Garden, clearly. That's where his career high was. 30 points for him in this game. No OG certainly helped him, but I mean, it's just so crafty, man. He had a bucket where he was trapped under the rim and shot faked like almost out of bounds, too far into the basket, but the fake was so special and he was so unbalanced. Josh Hart actually jumped for it. That opened up a lane for him to score. Just, I mean, there's a lot of games where he scores 30 and it's like, there's no one thing you point to. It's like, wow, he was so exceptional with that. It took him 26 shots to get there. He actually shot it. Not great, but 30 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals. Awesome game from Siakam, finding key angles, except one thing was not awesome. This free throw thing is a thing. We didn't have enough time post-game to get into it because they were leaving to get on the bus. But he's missed too many key free throws this season. Just too many free throws, period, this season. It's so bizarre for him because he's a great jump shooter. He's really evolved that part of his game, but he could not buy a shot at the foul line tonight. Thankfully, it didn't end up mattering because that would have been actually a key factor in their loss. But awesome game from Siakam, and another awesome game from Quentin Jackson. He goes from a DNP to starting. And he's like playing fine early. I'm not saying he was playing bad, but he was just, okay, there's Quentin Jackson. He's being Quentin Jackson. And then he gets into this tangle with Jose Alvarado where they're fighting for a jump ball. And it wasn't like a brawl or anything like that, but it was clearly just like an intense battle for the ball. And they called the foul on Alvarado. And Q just got up right after that. 5 for 7 from the field on his way to 19 points on 7 shots. He made 4 threes, 5 free throws, including 2 to basically put the game away. 6 boards, huge, 3 assists. Great game from Q. He's proven that he's very good many, many times. But to go from DNP to starting, and acknowledgement from Siakam about his 2-way contract days, that's certainly a factor in his DNPs and inactives of late. To go from that to this says a lot about him and his mentality. They still have the open roster spot. I've already explained that the Pacers cap reality means they probably would not convert his contract to basically the last possible day they could if they're going to do so. So don't worry about that for about 2 more weeks. But he was quite good in this game. And if you ask for my opinion, certainly deserves a standard contract. If you ask me, he was quite good in this game. And look, man, like a lot of guys are athletic and dynamic, but that doesn't amount to much. I mean, they drafted Kendall Brown, for example, in 2022 or whatever. I was talking about him today, so he's fresh on the mind. He was super athletic, but like he couldn't use it functionally. It didn't make him drive fast. It didn't make him a great defender. Like for Q, his speed makes him so threatening with the ball. He can translate that to drives to the basket. He can translate that to shifty defense. The function of it is what makes it so impressive. Cam Jones getting real rotation burn again against his guy, Tyler Kolek, in this game. Had a gorgeous lob to Jay Huff for his only assist, hit one of his shots. He's just kind of like not shooting that much and keeping it moving, which is fine. He's got to learn to fit in. It's a tough system to learn, but his lob was very gorgeous. And Jay Huff finished that lob. My only Jay Huff note is he caught on the perimeter in this game, even without a shot fake. Just put it on the floor, drives with his right hand twice, spins into cat and scores and draws a foul. And that happens like once every 5 games. I need to remember that Huff is capable of the very impressive drive because it doesn't happen that often. But when it does, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing that can happen. I need to stop forgetting that that's a Jay Huff thing that is possible. But Karl Towns, who was on the other end, that was a problem for the Pacers. I mean, these bigger centers with like power at the basket continue to be an issue. 22 points, 14 boards for him. He was terrible on threes at 1 for 6, but great on twos at 7 for 11, plus 5 free throws. I mean, unsurprisingly causing problems. Zubats would in theory be a great answer for him, but that was unsurprising. Speaking of Potter, I want to get into this by blending his section with Aaron Nesmith. It was also shocking to see Aaron Nesmith miss in Madison Square Garden tonight. He didn't hit early in this game at all. He got going. It looked like getting into it with a fan who was somewhere behind the basket. I couldn't quite figure out where they were watching the game. But that got him into the game. I think he started 1 for 5 or 1 for 6. But the thing that was confusing about Nesmith is he had a back injury. He went back to the tunnel. I think he even was rubbing his knee or leg area at one point, and he came back in the game. And it's like, okay, he played fine. He closed the game. It didn't end up amounting to anything. But Furphy just happened. I didn't get it. I don't get it. People ask me. I don't know why. I did not ask about it. I probably should have. Carlisle said him and Potter, who we'll get to in a second, came out of the game. Okay, but I'd imagine anyone even sort of banged up would not play in Brooklyn. That would be Aaron Nesmith. I don't know why he came back in. Truly, it doesn't make sense to me. But no harm, no foul, I suppose. But the process was not good to me in doing that. And Potter too, right? He has a hip thing. He limped out of the game for Huff at one point, but he came back. They both closed the game. Neither of them were obviously serious. The medical staff knows better than me. It's just man, the risk seems not worth it. But oh man. Overtime game tonight. A lot of these guys are surely going to be too tired to play in Brooklyn on Wednesday. Micah Potter, my only note about him is the same it was the last couple games. Look, he's this sounds insulting what I typed, and I don't mean it to sound that way. Sometimes he's hard to notice, and I don't even mean that in a bad way. He's invisible good. Some guys are invisible bad. You need them to be visible. He's invisible good because he's just making solid plays and defending and moving around the court. And I just think that to me, as he gets more minutes, I have the same takeaway. There's just nothing he stinks at, and that matters. That lets him get on the floor in many situations. He can kind of rebound. He can kind of shoot. He can move the ball. He can move himself. He was +2 in almost 29 minutes in this game. So another good Micah Potter night. Andrew Nembhard was balling, just completely balling, and having the time of his life. He was shooting early and hitting. He hits 4 threes on his way to 24 points and 10 assists. And I forget which bucket it was after. It was a baseline jumper, I think, where he's trotting back to half court, and the crowd's a little quieter, and the Pacers are winning by 3. With a couple of minutes to go, and he just has this huge grin on his face. He just loves big games like this. He's in some of his best games this year. OKC, Cleveland, New York. I think he just loves playing against some of these rivalry-like teams. Great game from Andrew Nembhard. Last guy who played well, Ben Shepherd. Back to hitting shots, perhaps. Ben Shepherd, 4 for 5 in this game. He made his first 2 threes, 7 rebounds and 2 assists. They were +2 in his 17 minutes. Since the All-Star break, what am I saying? The All-Star break hasn't even arrived yet. Since Ben Shepherd returned from injury, I need to find my own. It's probably so far back that it's take me 1,000 years to find it. He had very good percentages since his return. I can't find it. It's too far back. I believe it's 45% from the field, 41% from 3, and 75% from the line entering this game since returning from injury. I think he's back to hitting. He had a catch-and-shoot drive with a crafty finish. He had a tricky floater cut. Just a really solid offensive game from him to get to double digits among many. I believe 8 Pacers in double digits, and that is Pacers Knicks. I'll be back tomorrow in Barclays Center for Pacers Nets. I will predict a much different Pacers team on the floor for that game, and then it's time for the All-Star break. We'll do a mailbag. We'll talk about all sorts of fun stuff. So thank you all so much for listening today. I believe I have to get out of the arena pretty soon. So quicker outro. You can find me on social media at Tony Arias, this podcast at Locked On Pacers. Back tomorrow talking Pacers Nets. Till then, everybody, have a wonderful day.